what inspired you to write it? Did you have like similar experiences when you were little?
Great. Okay. So so first of all, Ezra, just so you get, this is it, right? This is our.
Yeah, I saw
Okay.
it hasn't come yet.
It hasn't come yet. Okay. So, what inspired me to write it? And not just write it, but I drew it. I drew the whole thing. The only thing I did not do was color it. My friend Dan colored it.
Okay.
And I will say this: I have always loved comics. When I was in first grade, I started drawing Snoopy. I really liked Snoopy, and I really liked characters, and I started coming up with characters. So I've always loved reading comics. Garfield, Calvin and Hobbes. Then I was a little older.
I love Calvin and Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes is one of the most. It's a masterpiece.
The best.
The guy, Bill Watterson, amazing artist. And the art is amazing too. So I not only like the characters, I would draw all the art. I would draw them over and over again, so I could draw all those guys. Bloom County, if you know Bloom County.
Yeah.
Opus, it's an older one. What else was it? What else was a great one? Zitz is one that's really. Anyway, like I would read the comics every day, and I started reading comic books, and like if you know, I'm sure you know the X-Men and Spider-Man, like all those.
I'm not really like a Marvel fan. I like DC more.
There you go. Well, that's Batman. I mean, Batman. I would say so. There's a graphic novel. If you have a chance, and you're probably of age, I probably read it when I was 10, which was The Dark Knight Returns. And there was the artist and author his name is Frank Miller, and it was in the 1980s, and he created a 4-book series of Batman that blew me away, and is what like when the movies started they started doing Batman movies like in the 90s. They were like, we're trying to recreate Frank Miller's version of Batman. He had this gritty, it was dark, it was gritty. I loved it. I read it over and over again. So that was one thing. That was the comics. Number 2 is I've always just loved stories. I mean, what kid doesn't love stories? And to this day, I love telling stories, and I love, hearing stories. I love, and so as I grew up and heard more Jewish stories, my rabbi always said, he started every story with, once upon a time there was a, and all of us kids, we all yelled out, king. So I took those 3 things, the fact that I love comics, that I loved stories, and that I loved Jewish stories, and I did one of the stories, which is called The Tainted Grain. And after I finished The Tainted Grain, which is a crazy story, when I learned it, I was like, I can't, it blew me away.
It's like Alice in Wonderland, except like Jewish version.
Very good, very good. That's exactly what I'm going for in this book, Alice in Wonderland, but Jewish.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was like, if I just keep doing this, if I just keep finding stories and telling them, I'll have enough for a book.
Yeah. I was actually supposed to do a play of Alice in Wonderland, except it's Jewish, Alice in Chelm. You know how Chelm is like crazy?
Please do it. Please make that happen.
It's canceled. It was supposed to happen in June.
Doesn't matter. Write it. Make it happen. If you don't do it this year, you'll do it eventually.
I don't know. Maybe.
That is a brilliant idea.
So you like stories, and you like Jewish stories, and you like comics. So you put it together. Big mashup.
Yes. And I found the stories. I did a lot of research. I took ones I had heard. I took ones that I'd found recently. And the way I found the stories, the way I decided whether I wanted to illustrate them was if it hit me like in my gut. I was like, ooh, that's I don't know why I like that story so much, but I do. And also if there was a good visual component. So for example, I'll just show you when I learned about Og.
Oh yeah.
That he had held on to the bow of the ship.
Yeah.
I was like, that's super cool. You know, this is one of the first things I was like, I wondered what that would look like across 2 pages.
Yeah.
And
like the Baal Shem Tov with all the like letters all around him.
Yes, right.
That's
where all the
cool component.
Oh, wait, Ezra, you're asking a question. When did I start writing it? Or when I started in 2013.
Wow, that's a lot.
It took me 7 years. Yeah. it took a long time because I have kids and a full-time job, so I'd wake up I wake up an hour early and just work on it for like an hour a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so cool.
I
Especially
really like
the scribe lettering, like the Torah lettering with all the like fancy swirls.
Yes,
like it's some parts. Yeah.
Yes, I'm trained as a scribe,
That's
and
cool.
I love doing the letters. I mean,
That's
you can
really
see right
cool.
here.
Yeah.
I love doing Hebrew letters.
That's super cool. I have one. I prepared 2 more questions.
That's okay.
Ezra, do you want to go?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So in the little blurb in the back of your book, it said that you have the title Rabbi. So I'm wondering, is that because you're trained as a sofer, or did you have like rabbinical training?
Oh, that's interesting. No, I don't have my smicha is actually because I learned kashrut. I learned the kashrut, and that was not connected specifically to the book, but it's because I've been learning for a while, and so that I had a calling to be called rabbi.
Okay, I think I get that.
Let me ask you: do either of you guys draw or write comics?
I draw. I made a comic for class. It's in French, and it was just like stick people, so it wasn't that good.
All right.
But sometimes when I'm really, really like just really, really, really like overwhelmed or like annoyed about something or like angry or something, like I'll just like take out like paint and like put some music on and like paint something or draw something.
Good.
Maybe I'll do like glitter glue. I really like using glitter glue. I really love glitter glue.
People love, my daughters love glitter glue. That's interesting.
Yeah, I got a pack and it has metallic glue. It's not glitter.
So can I tell you a little bit? So it says the Book of Secrets.
Yeah.
So do you want me to reveal a few of the secrets that are in this book?
What is it?
So I'll tell you, I'm going to show you a few things.
Okay.
So Ezra, since you haven't read this yet, this will be a little preview. So this character right here, what's his name? Do you remember?
I can't see.
This guy.
Og? No,
nope.
the what's it called? The golem.
The dolem. So what's a dolem?
It's a golem made out of bread.
A golem made out of bread dough.
What made out of?
You know what a golem is?
It's like a mythical giant made out of clay, and a rabbi like wrote Emet on its forehead and like brought it to life with like davening, and then it erased the aleph and it died. Yeah. So you drew it. Yeah.
And that's right. When you erase the aleph, you just get the word
Met, which is die.
I was working on some challah with a student, and I was telling her the golem story, and she pinched the word emet into the challah dough.
Yeah.
And that was the first time. That was probably years ago, and I was like, "Oh, that's funny." The dolem. Oh, the golem. The dolem. Oh, the dolem. Ha ha. So
funny.
The dolem shows up in every story, but sometimes it's hidden. I'll show you something else. I'll show you one of the other secrets. Is that when they go to Bubby and Grandpa's house, this scene right here, that there is a symbol from every story in this room.
Oh yeah, there's.
So you have to find all the different symbols.
Little ink thingy.
That's good. There's the ink. That's right.
Butterfly.
There's a butterfly over here. Excellent.
Is a sewing machine something?
The sewing machine, very good.
The Hanukkah? The menorah?
Nope, the menorah's not. Actually, the menorah is not.
Maybe the like sack of flour.
The sack of flour is very important. That is very true.
Where's a stack of flour?
It's in the back.
Oh yeah, I see that.
That's actually very cool.
There's like two or three. What's one?
The pens?
The pen. Well, the pen and the ink is important.
Yeah. It's like
No,
the
there's a
princess
bunch.
thing.
I'm not going to tell you what they are. You got to figure. I mean,
The
there's one
rug looks like
The
the
lamp?
demon guy.
lamp. The lamp. Why is the lamp important?
It has.
Because it has
flower-
wheat.
It has wheat on it.
Painted
It
wheat.
has the weed in it. Very good.
The rug kind of looks like the demon who gave King Solomon like prophecies.
Asmodai?
What?
Interesting. Asmodai.
Yeah, because there's like a little like flamey thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here is a
Okay.
maze.
Oh yeah, like the giant metal guy.
Because the last which one is it?
The giant metal guy who doesn't let him go into the maze. This one, yeah.
Before the maze.
Yeah.
And then the last one. Do you want to give you the last one, or you want to find it?
I can't find it. I don't
You look
think
at this portrait right here. What is that?
that is a bridge. Like
Yeah, I saw that.
like the thing where she's looking for treasure under the bridge.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. That one. That's cool. That's
So those are some of the secrets. There are more secrets in there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to see the original artwork?
Sure.
That's cool.
Would that be interesting?
Cool.
All right. So I will show you right now. I'm going to show you my studio. I happen to be in the basement.
Yeah, I.
So that is my. It's right now. It has
I
a lot of.
noticed that in my days of being in your music class.
Yes, exactly right. Ezra is also my music student. So, okay. So I'm going to show you something. You okay?
Yeah, I can see.
So.
Okay.
Oh, you brought your you brought your things home. You brought the xylophones home.
I did bring a xylophone home. That's true. So.
I'm just curious, what kind of stuff do you use to draw with? Do you usually use like a pencil and then ink, or like do you
Yeah, I'll
use
explain.
a pen?
I'll explain in a second. Okay, so this right here.
That's a look.
This is the book. I'll show you.
What's that?
What do you think of originally naming it?
Hold on. So I'll show you, for example.
Yeah.
This is the original page.
With no words.
With right.
No color.
So what I do, I'll just tell you the basic process is on a scratch piece of paper, I draw, I come up with the idea, I come up with dialogue, I come up with sketches, and then eventually I make them into what's called thumbnails, which are about this size. I make a whole page around that size, the size of a Post-it. Very loosely. And this is, it's called Bristol, which is a thick paper.
Yeah.
And if you can tell, there is blue ink. Do you see that blue ink or blue writing?
Yeah.
I drew everything. First, I draw everything with a pencil. This is a blue ink pencil. And what that does, it allows me to write, and draw. And then on top, I have ink. This is black India ink that I have a brush, and I brush it on, and all of the borders are with a pen, with a, I can show you them. Hold on.
So I usually use, like, I have a black, like, pencil thingy that doesn't really erase, but it's kind of, like, fancy. It's from, like, an art store. Yeah. And then sometimes I use that and just, like, color it in so you don't really see the lines. And then, or sometimes I'll just use, like, a plain ink pen.
Yeah. The great thing about comics is you can use the most basic, you can use a sheet of paper and a pencil and a pen. So, I use, for example, for my borders, I use what's called a micron pen, and it gives me a nice straight line.
Yeah.
And for this is a pen that is also a brush. So I can get a lot of different kind of textures with it.
But when you're like a professional, like, artist or something, you need to have like a lot of like fancy stuff.
No. I'm doing it. This is what I'm using. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, here, a lot of people use computers now. You can you could do it all digitally, but a lot of us still do it this way.
Yeah.
Once I do this, I scan it, and then in Photoshop on the computer, I clean it up. I take out any scratch marks, and I put the text in digitally. So I do use a computer for that.
And then you send it over to your friend, and he puts color.
And he colors digitally. So that was. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's cool.